Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar today, where we're going to look at visualizers and how they can boost the journey on your website for your visitors, making them stay longer, making them purchase, and how the visualizer can connect people to your products that you're either selling or the homes that you're selling in general. My name is Chantel. And I have been an employee for Cadza for many years, and I have been a designer as well. So I'm going to take my expertise in the software and the design industry and give you some tips today on what you can do on your websites to make them more engaging for your web visitors and ultimately make them make a purchase with you while they're on your website. So if you're currently offering a website that's photo based, and here's an example here, one we just kind of put together, where you're asking your visitor to make decisions to try and imagine what it's going to look like if I had this dining room chair, or I used this particular tile, or had this sofa. So when you ask them to try and imagine what that would look like in their space, that's going to stall the site. What they need is guidance. They need your help. Many people cannot visualize. They can't look in a home and understand what A is going to even fit, and B, what's going to look good and function well in that space. When you have products for purchase, or if you're marketing model homes, you have to guide them through that and show them what it's going to look like with your expertise. And presenting the products in a list-based format with 2D pictures gives them an idea, but it doesn't give them the full journey that they're going to need to be able to visualize it. So I'm going to take you back into our Visualizer Personal Architect online. When I design a space and specifying new products, I really have to see them. I have to walk through, just as I'm walking through here, I have to walk through the space, get a good look, zoom in on things, understand exactly how everything's going to function when I look at them, get up close, and just see how those materials are going to look and work in the space that I'm dealing with. Look at it from all different vantage points. It may look good from one angle, but from another space, it might look awkward. And you really don't see that until you can walk around the space. So when you can give someone the opportunity to walk through and see the home from any vantage point that they want, they don't have to skip over to some hot spots or pre-generated placements. They can walk right through the home, all the way through, and see exactly what every room is going to look like. And part of that journey, when they're walking through that space, is getting to understand, well, this is a very narrow walkway. That's a very tight hallway. Does that work for me? Or when I'm walking, even inside a tiny little powder room, just going to go right through. How's everything laid out in here? How does it feel having a very vibrant and busy pattern inside a small space? For some, that's a wow moment. That's for people that like maximalism. This is fantastic. For people that don't, it's, whoa, that's a little overwhelming. That is not for me. But then you give them that opportunity to be able to make choices. And through that journey, they can go through, and I'm just going to pick on materials here, and I'll go to paint. And while I'm looking at different paint colors, maybe I just want everything to be white. So that is better for me. This speaks to me more than a very vibrant wallpaper. They can see it. They can visualize it. They understand it. But if I just present a model home or a room and I don't give them the opportunity to change things, I'm giving them my vision. And maybe they can't get past it. How many times, even just watching HGTV and you're watching people go through a home and I don't like it. What don't you like about it? I don't like the cabinet color and I don't like the paint color. Okay, those things can be changed. Give them that opportunity right on your website. Give them the opportunity to change it. And maybe they really do like this very small powder room right now because it looks more open to them and it doesn't have the wallpaper. Or maybe that room could be even smaller. But let them go through, let them make the choices and go through the space. So when they've come to your website, they're already interested. Check mark number one. What you need to do is give them the opportunity to stay. Give them a journey. Give them something to do when they're there. Let them visualize, let them walk through. And the more time they spend on your site on this particular journey, that increases your on-page stats, the time on page stats. And that's really helpful for your Google placements and your Google Analytics. The longer people stay on a page, Google recognizes that there must be something on that page that is compelling for a web visitor. They'll start to tick up in your ranking on that particular page. But if someone comes to your site and it's just like this and they scroll and yeah, nothing here for me and go, that drives down that on page time stat and Google doesn't look at it. So you really want them to stay longer. You want to give them a journey that's helpful. And it also helps them make that decision. Something else about a visualizer, while I'm in here, I can click on any element. So I could pick on this faucet as an example, come down here to info and find out all the information I need to. I can zoom in, get really good details about how everything looks and feels on it. And this is where you could put in your own information. This could be a link to more information. This could be telling them that if this is for a model home, this is an upgraded faucet. This is not Builder Basic. This is an upgrade, and this is the cost. These pages here, these info pages, are customizable. So the information that you want to relate on them, you can do that. You can change those and have that. So if I'm looking at this range as an example, we'll come up closer to it, take a good look at it. I can even move myself down lower, get really into looking at that range, and then bring up its info. That's a 48-inch induction range. That is not Builder Basic. That's where you would say this is an upgrade, but is it worth it? Take a look at it, zoom in. I really want that range now. I don't want to go back to just an electric stove sitting in there. I want this particular model. Even, at the price point that it might be, I'm interested. So you can really even help engage your visitors to see things and even upgrade them in their sales when they can see what it's going to look like with that particular range in there that is a higher end item and walking through this space. And this is where, you can even change out products like we did in the bathroom, in that little powder room. But we can also, as I walk through, start, just changing out different items. Perhaps it's the rugs that are in here. You see the seagrass in here, but maybe that's not working for you. Maybe you're going to delete that out and try something different. I'm going to go back to 2D. We can see the entire plan in 2D. Over here to the left, where I painted the material on to begin with, that's where I can pick up different items. So I'm going to click on Furnish here, and that's where I can go down to Decor. And then we offer filters. So I can filter through to quickly find exactly what it is I'm looking for, and I'm looking for a new area rug. So I'm looking through all of the different rugs. Which one do I want? Do I want to see something different? And maybe I'm going to pick up something with a lot more color. I'll put it off to the side right here. Does that work for me? I can see the color. I get the information about it. I can pull up its information to see everything about it and take a look at it. I like it, but let's see what it looks like actually in the space. So I'm going to move it over here. Just let me grab it here and move it into the space. That looks okay, but let's go back into 3D. And now I can really get the look of what it's going to look like in that space. Do I like it? Is it too much for the color? This is a very kind of a monochromatic design. Does this one hit of color work in the space? Is my eye drawn there? Do I want to draw my eye there? What does it look like to have it in this space? So I can see it and visualize it. And then walk around. Perhaps I'm not really liking these chairs. Let me get the information on the furniture. Bring it up, take a look at it. Maybe I want to try something else. So I'm going to delete that one out and go over to my catalog again. Go over to my furniture. And under filters, I'm going to go to chairs for my living room. Oh, this one looks all right. What does that one look like? It's got the wood tones. I can rotate it into the position I want to see it in. Does that work in my space? It's definitely not as bulky as the other one. It's very fluid. I can see through it. Maybe that's more my style. I can visualize it and I can see it. So when we're doing things like that and you have your visitors in the visualizer walking through and making changes, swapping out the area rug, swapping out the furniture, changing maybe the range, changing the materials on the walls, those will all appear in the stats that you're going to get as well. So every time something is inserted, you get a stat of how many times people selected this faucet A over faucet B, and how many times ultimately they deleted it. They just wanted to see it and then no, it was gone and they picked something else. I'll see how many times it came into a design and left the design, not part of the final package. So it's not showing well. Maybe it's the height. This is a very large faucet. It's not scaled down. It might not be the style that they're looking for, kind of consumes that space. They might want something smaller and less in your face as this one is. And maybe they see that once they get it in. They might have thought, I always liked those. I want to be able to move around and spray all different sides of the sink, but whoa, that's big. The scale is wrong. It's not going to suit my space. You'll see that. And then you can take that product information and realize people really like this particular faucet. So on any kind of marketing I do, I should really put that at the forefront of everything because that speaks to people. People don't like this particular black faucet. And maybe that moves down in the showcase. Or maybe it's reflective of how many people actually purchase it too. And it might be a product line that you don't want to carry anymore. You want to look where the trends are going and the stats behind everything everybody does in this online space is tracked. So you can see what the trends are, what they're doing, and how they're doing that. Even with something with the kitchen cabinetry. This is a very contemporary, sleek, low profile cabinet style. But if it was a different style, what if they swapped that out? And maybe they selected something different. And interesting enough, this particular model, this 2D floor plan here, I'll show it to you here on 2D. It's part of our online visualizer that we have. We show kind of a showcase of different homes so people can select them. And I did draw out the villa. It is part of that. And if I go into this 3D space, the original concept for this one was white shaker. And having the range off to the one side, one window, and there was an intermediate wall here to begin with, then added later. So you can see how this vision was part of the original design, but when I got my hands on it, I went in 3D and changed that. So if I look at that same view, that range got moved over. I wanted more counter space on this side. The window got smaller and it became 3 individual. So you can start off with a base plan and then let people play with it. See where they go with it. See what items they upgrade and change ultimately and what materials they want to use. Because we can see the reflection in this glossy finish, but what if they want a honed finish? What if they want to see that? Again, that's something here. If we go over to our products and we go over to countertops And I can go through different options with the countertop to try different materials here until I find something that I like. So this gives me the opportunity to really see them. I can get up close, see the veining in there, see the reflection, see the different finishes and what they offer, and see what ultimately works in the kitchen for me. And from there, I can make my decisions. So you can have as many different options over here on the side of what products you carry. Your products are in here and we will reflect their appearance. So we can see this countertop versus the very high sheen of this countertop. You tell us, you give us high images of the materials of your products, and we'll reflect them in the product too. The other part of this is when a consumer has went up and built their space, they want to take away something. They can share it. This is a very collaborative space. So they've built their design. They can then hit share. And when they share it, that means they can either share it back to you, to one of your designers on staff to finalize it, polish it, or they could share it with friends and family. And when they share it with friends and family, that brings even more people back to your site. They can invite them in and say, hey, what do you think of this kitchen? I've designed this. And what are your thoughts? Because they always need feedback from other people to verify their selections and their choices so they can bring them in, bringing more people to your site. So it's shareable. They can also share 2D visuals. So I created some renderings of the space. All you have to do is click render. The renders are very quick. It's all cloud-based. Within a few minutes, they have this high quality imagery that they can share. It just saves as a JPEG when you download it. So I've taken all different views of the kitchen. I even swapped out some appliances to get different views. I looked at it. Do I want stainless steel? Do I want the matte black? And an image like this or a vantage point in a visualizer allows me to see that. So I can get a real feel for the materials and how they look. So if you wanted to offer 2D imagery as well as a 3D journey, you can do that and create the 3D images and download them as 2D JPEGs as well. So every room can go in, take a photograph, a JPEG, and see what ultimately it looks like and if it speaks to the consumers from the beginning. But let me show you how to start off this space. So I've built out this space, and it's the same room that we have here in our 3D space. And we give, this is the SharePoint. When they hit edit this design, that takes them into Personal Architect so they can go in and make the changes that they want to. So I know we have different audiences today. I know there's different manufacturers of different products. I know there's custom builders in here today and designers. All of you have a different reason for wanting to use the software. And for those of you that are builders, designers, when you give them the opportunity to come into a space like this might be the model home. You can also lock down the walls to editing. So right now you can see how big this water closet is. I can click on that and say, I only want this to be 5 feet wide. And clicking on this wall here, let's just grab it and shrink that in. So I can move them, but you can stop them from moving. So if you have structural walls and you don't want them to move them, you can stop that from happening. But I'm going to exit here and I'm going to save all the changes that I made to it. And then I'm going to start a brand new project for you so you can see what it is on this journey. Now, when you start off a new design, you can have that based on inspirational templates. So if you want to bring them into a room that was already started, so that cuts down on the work they need to do. So if you think, oh, building out an entire room is going to be very difficult for my clients, Start them off in an inspirational template. Start them off in a room that has all of the selections there already. And for those of you that are production builders and you want to be able to show your plans, this is where this is, plan A, and this is the Smithsonian, and these are all the different plans that you have. They can pick on those and open them up and go inside that home. So templates are just kind of a launching pad to get them started easier. Or you can give them a blank slate. Or if you are a remodeler, you can start that off with pictures. Go inside the existing space using our app. You take pictures of the room so it knows the space, and it automatically generates it as a 3D model that you can open up inside Personal Architect. So you have the opportunity to use inspirational templates, blank canvases, or if you're a remodeler and wanting to show people a home, you can use it by going actually into the home and taking pictures, and it develops the 3D model for you. So here's our blank canvas. This room is 20 feet by 20 feet. And by double clicking, you can change the dimension. So I can change that to be 18 by 20, whatever dimensions you want. You can add more rooms in different shapes. So if I wanted to add an L-shaped room up here, I can move around its walls. I can change it and develop an entire floor plan if I had wanted to as well. Then you begin your construction. So I'm going to go through and add some doors. So I'll add a 32-inch door here. Let's pop this here, pop this here, and grab a window. We'll put the window a 24 by 24 here. And if I double click on the dimensions that appear, I can move that, I can move that exactly where I want it. So I can be exactly 4 feet away from that particular corner. So I have this room, and I'm going to grab another door. I didn't realize that secondary one didn't go in. I'll put it here like so. So now I've developed the space. To make the journey even easier for your clients, if you are a manufacturer of kitchen cabinetry or appliances or countertops, we have an AI kitchen designer. What it does is it analyzes the space. So as soon as I clicked on the floor and hit the AI designer, it analyzed the space. It recognized that I have 2 doors here, so this is traffic. It's going to stay away from any traffic flows. It doesn't want to impede that traffic flow, so it stays away from it. It recognizes that I have a window here and automatically puts my sink underneath it and moves my range away. Some local building codes we recognize do not allow a range to be close to a window, so our defaults recognize that and put it away. These can all be moved later. If your local region allows for the range to be near a window, you can move it there. Different regions don't allow it because of fire hazards, because a gust of wind can come in through. People can put curtains up and it hangs down into the range. A whole host of issues. So as our rules are here, it's moved away. And then I can tell it, well, I want an L-shaped kitchen. So it again analyzes that space. How can I best put that in? And it's using, you can see right now, Shaker, or I can go to my Contemporary, or I can go to like Natural Maple, or I can go to Shaker, but it's got like a midnight blue color to it. And I can upgrade my appliances to a Builder Premium or electric, or all different packages that you might want to use. I can tell it I want it to use tall cabinets, tall uppers in that selection as well. I can even tell it what corner I want it. It started in this corner, but by picking on this button, I could move it to a different alternate corner as well. And then when I'm happy with it, I just hit, okay, check mark. And then I go inside. And there's the kitchen already done. So they can see, okay, now I see the blue Shaker. Now I see what that's going to look like. And then if they're not happy with that, down here at the bottom, they can hit Build Kitchen again and say, okay, what if I chose green instead? What does that look like? Or perhaps I want to go back and use the natural maple or the slab panel. So you can keep going through all of the different options and see what it's going to look like until you finally land on one that you think works for you. And then you just swap that out. So I'm even can change the appliances through that. When I'm happy, I say, yep, check mark, that works for me. And then if I click on it and I hit explode apart, that's when they become individual elements. So there's a lot of intelligence behind a visualizer, a 3D visualizer like Personal Architect. It can build spaces out for me very quickly and efficiently. And it can allow me to swap different things out for different finishes. And I can play with the model and really make it personalized for me. So if I click on this wall as an example, I can come down to multi-finish, show my objects, and say that I want to stop the material here. And then I want to stop it again halfway up this window here and make those different materials. So that if I click on, check mark that, and if I hit on materials here and I go to tile, I could tell it that I want this tile here and maybe just a simple tile at the top. I'll do some subway tile at the top and maybe with not a different grout there. And then when I hit save, it's got the new materials there. So if you resell tile, people can get up close and see what exactly it's going to look like when they mix and match tiles. Even looking over here on this wall, select it down at the bottom, multi-finish, show my objects, and now cut. I want to cut it here, check mark, cut it here, check mark, and vertical slice, cut it here, check mark, cut it here, check mark. And then apply a tile, maybe a busier tile, we'll pick this one right here, in that region, just that tile in that region. So when I say save it, I've got that one tile in that one area. So I can visualize it and see if that's what I like. So a 3D visualizer allows people to visualize, stay on your site longer, and really make informed decisions about what something is going to look like. Instead of deciding later on, I really wish I would have mixed and matched the tile, came up with a different design. Now they can see it and understand, no, that does not work for me, or yes, it does. I like the blue-white palette. I like the gray-white palette on this wall. See it and compare it and get to know it. And that helps people to make decisions. It helps you to sell your products. And it helps for those of you doing full model homes for you to be able to get people inside and making decisions and maybe upgrading to not just the builder basics, but allowing them to see what it's going to be like if they chose something different. And if I hit render, you then get your visuals as well. So using it as a sales tool, you could come in, hit render yourself, not just your clients. And instead of having a professional photographer have to go on site to a built model home, you can create your rendering. So I'm going to say white shaker kitchen. Start rendering. And it's going to render that out and create a JPEG that I can use as a visual on my website as well. So not only am I getting the 3D journey, but I'm getting 2D visuals out of it as well. So you don't need a professional photographer for your products anymore. You can create your own. So that's, product number one. This is the blue tile that I'm trying to sell. Now, what if I came back, this same kitchen, and now we're going for that black and white vibe. I'm going to mix this up. And now I do another render. Using that same kitchen that I set up, I can show different products. And this is black, white, zigzag tile. Start rendering. Okay. Cabinetry, swap out the cabinets. Show what it's going to look like with white shaker, then do an image like this for your website, then show what it's going to look like if you had chosen instead um, the blue, I think it was Hail Navy blue or the contemporary wood or a light maple. You show them the different materials without having to swap them out and build scenes physically in your showroom and hire a professional photographer. It really allows you to show your products very quickly, very easily, and with the analytics you're getting in the background, people are really drawn to whatever product, this tile. Let's make some good renderings of it and showcase it on our website. And then you can use that. Or this area rug is the one that's working the best in our analytics. Let's build some rooms and use that and create visuals for our magazine ads, for our social media feeds. You don't need to call in a photographer every time. You're the photographer. You're creating the spaces and using them. Covered a lot of different areas today, and there's still so much more that our visualizer can do, but I'm very conscious of your time. I've been talking now for half an hour. We've built out this space. We looked at the other space and talked about sharing it, modifying it. We can also take this down. These particular models can be opened up in our Envisioneer software, our desktop software. So if you also need to do full working drawings, or get a full bill of materials of the entire home, with, framing and all of that, this can be opened up in Envisioneer. So you can start your journey here. And for those of you that need further products to do working drawings, not just a visualizer, this can be opened directly in Envisioneer as well. But I'd like to answer any questions that you have, because the demographics in today's webinar, you're all from all different places around the world. You all represent different products. So I want to make sure that I hit the information that you need personally in your understanding of a visualizer and how you can use it in your marketing efforts on your website to make sure that people stay and purchase while they're on your website. So I'm just going to go to the questions panel now. First question. I don't have 3D blocks. How do we get them? That's a good question. So depends on your product and what you're selling. So sometimes if you're a builder, you might want to talk to your manufacturers. They might already have the block. So as an example, this dishwasher might be already done by a manufacturer. They might have already created that 3D block. If you're a manufacturer and you need the blocks as well, and you don't have them, we can create them for you. And when we do that, we give you that 3D block. So we put it into the catalog. So on your website, when you have the visualizer on your website and someone is on your site looking at your products, all the 3D blocks we create for you become part of that package, that catalog. So they're specifying your blocks, not generics or not your competition, which is in Personal Architect, just yours. And then you have that 3D block. So as an example, if I click on this range hood and get its information, I'm zooming in on it. I can see it. I could go and put that on my website as well. It's a OBJ file. So there's visualizers so people can just view them on your site as well. So if you wanted them to do that, they can. So all of the different blocks you see in our catalog here, if I go back in here, go back into appliances, an example, all of these, when I put them in, not only are part of the room, but it's an OBJ file. So you can zoom in on that, get a look at all the good details in it, and it becomes part of your website offering as well, because you own that block. And that's something else I should point out as well. For those of you that are manufacturers of different home products, we put your products in our catalog. So when our website visitors who are using Personal Architect for designing they see your products in our catalog. So I have all of these different um, appliances, decor items, and that all leads back to you. When you also put it on your website for your traffic, that keeps them on your website. So the visitors that are coming to you now have a reason to stay and design and specify your products and see what they're going to look like. Visitors that don't go to your website but come to ours also have the opportunity to see your products because they'll be part of our catalog as well. So they're inserting them, and that info page that's here, that could be a link back to your website, to your specifications page, to a purchase page when they're on the Personal Architect site on our website. So you kind of get a double hit of marketing there. One, the visualizer on your site, and two, the one that's on ours. Okay. Okay, next question. And it seems like it is kind of a follow-up question or one that was posted before I just answered that last one is, can you create the blocks and models on our behalf? And yes, we can. So if you don't have the 3D blocks and you need someone to create them, we do have 3D artists on staff and they can create the 3D blocks. If you wanted us to create your templates, your model homes in this environment, we can do that for you as well. You just send us the working drawings, the visuals that you have for those homes, and we can create them as a full 3D model for you in this environment so people can walk themselves through and then open them up and start modifying them on their own so that they can see what they're going to look like. So yes, there's that opportunity as well. Okay. Other questions? Okay, I don't see any further questions at this point. So if you have any, please post them up now. But at the end of today's webinar, I have recorded today's session. So I'll send it to you so you can review it again, or if you need to share it with somebody else, you can do so. And I'll send you links to our information on Personal Architect so you can try it out yourself. You can start out a free subscription to the base product of Personal Architect. Get up there, play with it, see what it's like. And then I'll send you information about our showroom that we've created and how we've made that work, about editing the design and taking it right inside Personal Architect. So that does seem to answer everybody's questions. I hope everyone gained something from today's webinar. If you do have further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, and I'll be able to answer your questions for you and get you insights into the information that you need about using 3D visuals on your website and a visual journey by using a visualizer to keep people on your site and ultimately to get people purchasing on your site. Because again, if you're only using 2D visuals, that's going to impact your visitors' behavior on your website. They're just going to scroll. They're going to have to imagine themselves, and that's going to affect your bottom line. So thanks again, everyone, for joining me today. I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.